Gordon Brown announced yesterday that the inquiry into the Iraq war will be conducted in secret and will take up to a year to report. In a statement to the Commons, the Prime Minister insisted that the investigation would be fully independent of government and said it would not set out to apportion blame but to learn all possible lessons. So what lessons do we hope the government and indeed the country will take away from such an inquiry?
Well, hopefully we'll learn not ever to believe a politician ever again. The thing is with this, it's pointless. I think it's totally pointless.
Why is that?
I don't think we'll learn anything from it. I think it's a total waste of money. We know what happened. It is being conducted in secret. It's not open. It's not independent. And basically, the people who are going to be making
independent.
Well, they are saying that because it's not government people making the judgments. It's people, but it is people that they have appointed. And you just think, I just despair. I'm still really cross that we went to war in the first place on a lie, and it was a lie. Whatever you think of Iraq now, whether you think it's a better place or whether it's improved or not, take that out of it. But just remember that when we were told that we had 45 minutes and there were weapons of mass destruction and there just wasn't, yeah, they did have to go and look around for another reason to go to war, and that's the one they're using now. Nobody will.
Of course, they didn't say that. They wouldn't say it was a lie. They would say that the information they had was wrong.
Yeah, well,
thing is,
which is a lie.
All right, pardon my ignorance then and naivety. Do we really? That's the excuse. That's what we were given. Weapons of mass destruction. But there's also a huge complexity going on in the Middle East that we can't begin to understand what's going on in the Middle East. There is
we
massive.
Should interfere with it then, should we?
Well, that would be my point. That surely, at the end of the day, they're not going to apportion blame. Of course, they're not. They're in government, and all this is internal. Yes, well, we do. Yes, actually, but we might just learn some more about if it opens up the Middle East, if it makes people think and ask other questions, other than just going, well, we know who's to blame, it was him, and it's our own petty little political circle. There are things, should we know, as the general public, that goes on in the bigger landscape.
I think when there's been such a huge loss of life, I mean, we've had loss of life with our soldiers, been a massive loss of life in Iraq with the Iraqi civilians. There should be an inquiry.
Yeah, that should not be allowed to rest. These people gave their lives. And do you seriously, truly, honestly, I'm asking, at the end of it, think that Tony Blair or anybody in the British government, they can be difficult and awkward, would send people to their deaths willingly through complete ignorance unless they honestly thought there was some reason to go to war?
Well, that's why we need the inquiry. We need to know why. That's what we need to know, though. And I think the thing is that it will not sit with the public until it's an open, independent inquiry. And I know they're saying that for these reasons of national security it's going to be secret so that people can talk candidly, but what good does that do?
Not under oath either.
Well, I think, yes, it shouldn't be, done behind closed doors, because that's kind of patronising us. That's almost like saying, well, we're going to have this inquiry, but you lot don't need to know again. Yeah. So I don't like being patronised. As far as the fact of being lied to of weapons of mass destruction, that, OK, it might have been a lie, but that's, for me, still doesn't mean we shouldn't have gone, because he was a mass murderer and a rapist, and everything was going wrong. And if that was happening, God forbid it doesn't, but if that was happening in our country, I would be crying out for people to be involved. And I don't think just because
you didn't have and thousands and thousands and thousands of Iraqi civilians lost their lives because we went in to help.
Yeah. But thousands were grateful that we did.
Yeah.
And there are lots of other dictators around at the moment doing the same thing, and nobody seems to be bothering with them.
Well, I think we should. That's what I'm saying. You can't just sit here and go, oh, let's mind our own business, because we're not getting killed, we're not getting raped, we're not being told what to do.
The only lesson that needs to be learned is don't go to war on a lie again. If there was a total justification for it at the time, and if the honest answer to it was yes, let's depose Saddam, and everyone agreed on that, then that's fine. But that's not what they said. So what's the point of spending all the money on an inquiry that is going to just come out with whatever conclusion they think?
Weapons of mass destruction, that would have been all right, because that would have.
But they didn't.
No, but if they had, we'd have all gone.
But we don't know what other things they found, do we? I agree. It shouldn't be in private. Why don't we make a more fuss? Why don't we claim back our right? We don't look at Iran. The people are speaking. We sit about going, well, that's what they. But actually, there are bigger issues that we don't know about in that war in the Middle East. We truly don't. And if that's what they, I'm just putting another point. But if there's no.
Well, let's hear about them then. If there were other issues, let's have an inquiry. You tell us your justification.
But sometimes
now it's all
maybe
over.
we shouldn't know. Do we have to know? If everybody in the First and Second World Wars had known everything that went on...
But after the event?
After the event, well, do we still? I mean, will we ever? I just think for the people that have fought this war, they deserve answers. But I don't think the answers are quite as obvious as we were told a lie and we went to war. That's my feeling about it.
If you want to carry on